Hi guys, Steve here and welcome to this tutorial. Today we are going to be doing Ork Skin. The idea behind the Ork Skin that I do for my Ork army is speed. I want to be able to paint a lot of Orks very quickly. So with the skin I wanted something that was very simple but ultimately gave a nice little effect on the battlefield. So this is a tabletop standard that we're doing here, and as you can see, it's very simple. There's some shading obviously lower down, and there's some shading obviously on the underside, and then it's highlighted further up. So like I say, very simple. This is 90% airbrush work, and it's the first thing I do on my models. I paint the skin first and then paint the higher layers above. It's how I choose to paint. Obviously you can paint differently and mask up using blue tack. A lot of people use blue tack to mask up the areas. I don't, because I like a gritty feel to my Orks anyway. And like I say, I designed this to paint in large bulk. So today we're going to be painting a plain boy. Right, so the colours we're going to be using for this tutorial are, first off, Elysian Green. And then we're going to use a mix of 50-50 Rhinox Hide and Mephiston Red. And then when we do the highlights, I'll be using Elysian Green with this bone one. I can't ever pronounce the other part of that. And then we'll be giving it a really light coat of this over the top, just to tie all the colours together, and then a shade all over. Right guys, so we've already primed the model black. Now we're going to come in with the Elysian Green, and we're going to use the airbrush. We're just going to test the airbrush to one side, and then we're going to come in, and just start blocking in the green. All over, making sure all the skin colours, all the skin is covered. So I'm going to finish this off camera, and then I will come back to you and show you after. Right, so we've got a nice even covering of green on him now, all over. So all the way around, all up. I've made sure it's a nice even coat all the way around. Now we're going to do a 50-50 mix of Rhinox Hide and Mephiston Red, and we're now going to aim this into the shadows only, so into the areas that you want as dark as you can get. So coming in from underneath all the darkest parts of the model, and I literally low air pressure and very light on the trigger, and I dust it in. And dust it. Oh, try and get a better camera angle. We dust it in. Don't worry if this comes across quite strong at the moment. We will be toning it back again afterwards, so I'm going to go in and do that off camera, and I will show you the results. Right, the first shade's all done. I've changed the camera angle slightly to see if I can. I noticed my hand was in a little bit blocking some of the detail as I was doing it, so I've moved the camera to see if we can get a better view as I'm spraying. It's my first tutorial doing it with the airbrush, so I'm just trying to get the right camera angle which works. So obviously from underside you can see all of the shading. I've done the shading on the Gretchen that's on his back as well. Now we're going to come in from the top with a 50-50 mix of the bone and the Elysian Green, these two. So we're going to do a 50-50 mix of these two, and now this time we're going to come in from the top. So we're going to hit all the top prominent edges, like so. And anywhere where you've gone over a little bit darker than you wanted to, this will just tone it back a little bit. So I'm going to finish that off camera and I will show you the results in a second. And there we have it with the lighter highlight over the top. Still not giving too much. Now at the minute it's a little bit too much of a contrast for me. So what I now like to do is get a mix of the Elysian green, and I water it down with approximately 5 parts water. So it's a very, very thin coat. And then what I do is I get the model and I just dust it back over the whole thing, including underneath as well, to bring the green back up, to tie the darker shades in with the lighter shades, and then the medium shades as well. So I'll finish that off camera and I'll show you the results. Right, that's that section done. We've now brought all the colours and tied all the colours a little bit better into each other and made them a little bit more coherent going through. The final step for me is a watered down earth shade, camo shade, this one, the green camo shade from Games Workshop. I do about 2 parts water to 1 part wash, just to tie it in. So I'll do that off camera and I will show you the results. And there you have it, guys, my super quick, my super effective Ork Skin. Like I said to you before, the whole point of this was to be able to airbrush the majority of my Orks skin without having to spend too much time brush painting. So the whole process is designed to speed up. You could do 10, 20 Orks at once with the airbrush, get the airbrush out, put some music on and just work your way through. I think you can agree the shadings come out nicely on it. The wash has just tied it all in together, which was the whole point. So I'm really happy with the results. What I do on my characters, I go in afterwards and I do add a little bit more depth to the skin with some glazes. You don't have to do that obviously on your characters, but I just like to do a little bit more just to bring the characters up a little bit more, just so they stand out a little bit more on the tabletop. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, guys. Please comment, rate the video for me. Let me know if you'd like to see something different, what you'd like to see, if you'd like to see some more tutorials on my Orks and how I do them, maybe the armor and stuff like that. Let me know, and thank you for tuning in. Take care, guys.